According to reports, Super Eagles coach Chelle has said he will stick to his 40-man list that he released, the provisional list that he released for the game against Zimbabwe and Rwanda back in March. A 40-man provisional list was released through the end. He selected his final 23 that executed both games back in March. So now we will be playing South Africa and Rwanda. We'll play Rwanda and South Africa. Rwanda on the 6th of March at the Goswell Akpabio Stadium, while South Africa in Bloemfontein on the 9th. So the Malian coach, Chelle, has said he's going to stick to his 40-man squad. So that means no player that is currently on form now, that is not in the 40-man list, will be included in any way. He's going to stick to his initial plans. Remember, Chelle, was with the Chan Eagles at Kenya and Tanzania. The Chan Eagles crashed out of the tournament in the first round. That's the group stage. Nigeria only won one match and lost two. They came third behind Senegal, Sudan, and ahead of Congo, Brazzaville. So Chelle has less than 2 weeks to prepare the Super Eagles for their upcoming important game against Rwanda, which is a must-win, and against South Africa, which is a must-win as well. Would you say the elimination of the Chan Super Eagles at Kenya was a blessing in disguise? Well, I would say a yes to that, because if we had stayed at the Chan tournament till the finals, the finals will be played on August 31st, and the national team camp for the World Cup will open September the 1st. So Chelle has enough time to rest, enough time to re-strategize, enough time to monitor players, enough time to gather his list and his 23-man squad that would execute those two important World Cup qualifiers. Nigeria must win those two if we want to go to the World Cup. Chelle took over the helms of affairs in March, and he promised, the Super Eagles that his main aim is to qualify the 3-time African champions to the World Cup. Nigeria missed out at the 2022 World Cup, and that is not a story Nigeria wants to hear now. We want to qualify World Cup that will be hosted by United States, Canada, and Mexico. So this is the 40-man provisional list that was submitted by Chelle. Earlier, since he said like you said before, since he's sticking to the plan, he's not bringing in any new player. So let's quickly run through the players on that list. First is Stanley Wabali. He's of AFCON, he's Chippa United shot stopper. He's been doing well for the Super Eagles. I think he will still retain that number one, despite Maduka Okoye of Udinese coming in strong this past few weeks. He has been doing well since he was stripped of his number one. But I think Chelle will still stick to Stanley Wabali as number one. So other players are Amos Obasoje and Kayode Bankole of Remo Stars. Defenders, we have William Troost Ekong, Bright Osayi, Bruno Onyemachi. Bright Osayi, we didn't see him at Fenerbahce's Champions League playoffs. We don't know what's wrong. He wasn't fielded on Rio in their ongoing playoffs Champions League qualifier, and well, we hope he's okay. He will be okay for a call-up Super Eagles. But we have replacements in that team. We have players that can play his positions that are even better. We have the likes of okay, let me call his name. We have Olaino, we have Calvin Bassey, we have Zaidou Sanusi. Zaidou Sanusi is also a player that is injured. We don't know what currently is going on with the FC Porto guy. And we have Igor Obu of Sparta Prague. We have Jordan Toringa. We have Ifeanyi Onyebuchi of Rangers, a home-based player. And in the midfield position, we have Wilfred Ndidi. We have formerly of Club Brugge, but he's now with Besiktas. And the Turkish league has started. Wilfred Ndidi is fitting into his new club, and we saw him celebrate the goal over when Besiktas first league game of the season. We have Al Hassan. Al Hassan plays for New England in the MLS, Major League Soccer in the United States. We have Al Hassan, we have Rafael Onyedika. Onyedika is also playing straight with FC Brugge. They call it FC Bruges, but you can call it Brugge. He's also in the Champions League squad that are doing well for themselves currently. They are also in the playoffs, the final stage of the playoffs season. They played so well during the group phase, and he even came to Manchester City, as in Etihad. He scored a wonderful goal. He was holding his own, though they lost they played a 3-3 draw. Onyedika scored one of the goals. So we'll be expecting that man that has the engine of which car am I going to use? Probably an Audi. He has the engine of this Benz, whichever you want to call it. Then we have Anthony Dennis. We also have Frank Onyeka, who was at Augsburg on loan last season. He is back for Brentford now. He wanted playing time. He was back for Brentford during their 3-0 loss at Nottingham Forest in the second half, and he was yellow carded. When he clashed into one of Nottingham Forest's player, avoiding a counter attack. So we would expect Onyedika to man his position in that number 4 with Wilfred Ndidi and Onyedika. Well, if that's the kind of formation we're going to use, 2 holding midfielders, and Ndidi will be the one in the advanced role, or probably Onyedika or Onyeka, but I believe Onyeka will be in the holding position. We have Mustafa of Niger Tornadoes, and we have Chris Santos Uche. Chris Santos Uche over the weekend. Chris Santos Uche, he scored a goal for Getafe, and he provided another. That guy is flying high in the Spanish league, and they won at Celta Vigo, and the guy is really flying high. Chris Santos Uche can play as a midfielder and as an attacking striker. We have loads of armory in that Super Eagles team. So let's go to the forward. We have Samuel Chukwueze, we have Victor Osimhen. Victor Osimhen, after coming through a transfer saga, he has finally settled down at Galatasaray as on a permanent deal. We know what he went through during all the from Napoli, but finally we thank God that Osimhen has settled and is now ready to face his career for club and country. We have Cyril Dessers, we have Nathan Tella, we have Sadiq Umar, we have Victor Boniface. Victor Boniface has not featured for Leverkusen. They started the season with the DFB Pokal Cup, their own version of the FA Cup. They started and he was on the bench. So, reports currently reaching us is that he's close to signing a deal with AC Milan on loan. This guy has moved from club to club, from Bodo Glimt to Saint Gilloise to Leverkusen, now to AC Milan, and he has won trophies for those clubs that he has played in. So we hope he's going to have a successful spell, 2025-2026 spell with Associazione Calcio di Milano, AC Milan at the San Siro Stadium. So we wish him the best if that deal pulls through. Last season, half of last season, the January window, he narrowly missed out with Al Nassr. He narrowly missed out playing along Cristiano Ronaldo, and I think all that is behind him now. The controversial striker who also had issues at the national team, but I think everything has been settled now, and the player can play at his best for the national team, because we need the best legs for these 2 games, especially the game against South Africa. But let us not rule out Rwanda. Rwanda are not pushovers. Other players in the striking position are Accord plays for Sevilla, Ejuke also plays for Sevilla. The games that we've played from game 1 to game 6, the World Cup qualifiers, this 2026 World Cup qualifiers started in 2023, and Eric Chelle was not the coach. Finidi George was the coach. We had ton of bad results, and we had to take away Finidi and replace him with Eric Chelle. Iguavon came in as interim boss, and he said he doesn't want a permanent deal handling the national team again. Remember, Iguavon took us to AFCON, and we only crashed out during the last AFCON that he took us to. The one before we played the finals at Cote d'Ivoire. So Iguavon stepped down, and we brought in this Malian, a foreigner. He's still a foreigner, but he's an African. And Eric Chelle promised that he was going to take us, all through to the final. You know, he started taking us when we just had only 1 point. You know, no, sorry, we just had only 2 points. We had already lost. We had already lost to Benin, and we drew 2. So Chelle promised that he was going to help the national team, you know, with their pride by taking us to the World Cup. So it all started, you know, in 2023 when Nigeria first played their game against Lesotho. You know, got the all-important equalizer in that game after Lesotho went up. So it shows that there's a lot to do in our defense. You know, that game was played in 2023. So our second game was against Zimbabwe. Away at Zimbabwe also, Kelechi Iheanacho was the one that scored. The match ended in a 1-1 draw. So Nigeria was still shaky, not until against South Africa. South Africa also, you know, when we play those guys are really stubborn. You know, we are rivals, we agree, but they are really stubborn. There is stubborn side to beat. You know, it's always difficult for Nigeria to beat them. Even at the last AFCON, you know, they were beaten in the quarterfinals, but you had to go into penalties. You know, we scored, they equalized, and to extra time before penalties settle both sides. So we played a 1-1 draw at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium. You know, so we have played 2 home games and we drew them. So as at the time before Finidi was sacked, we played against Benin. General Troa, the man that qualified Nigeria to the 2018 World Cup, is the one currently handling the Beninois national team, and we were beaten by 2-1. We scored first. Franco Onyeka was the one that put Nigeria in the lead, and Benin came back in the second half to score 2 goals. And you know, that really dented our hopes for qualifying into the 2026 World Cup final. So the arrival of Chelle, we played against Rwanda at Kigali. Victor Osimhen, he came back. You know, he was injured, he didn't play at the beginning, so he came back and Victor Osimhen scored 2 goals. Nigeria defeated Rwanda 2-0, and we came here as in that was a match. So the next game, 3 days later, we came to Godswill Akpabio Stadium. We were leading. Victor Osimhen, we tried everything. 74th minute, Victor Osimhen had scored, and the Zimbabweans didn't give up. You know, they were just pressing until, you know, just at the stroke of time, of full-time whistle, they got their equalizer, and you know, Nigerians were sad, were not happy at all. So now it is game time. Nigeria wants to play Rwanda. You know, the second leg against Rwanda. The first leg we beat them 2-0 at Kigali. Now the second game was on September 6th at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium. We are going to take them on September 6th, and 3 days later we'll be jetting out to Bloemfontein to take on almighty Bafana boys. The Bafana boys, I'm not going to lie to you, that team will be a hard nut to crack. Even if we have the stars, they have a team. You know, we have bigger stars than them, but it is always difficult for Nigeria to beat that team. But we hope everything pans out well. So looking at the standings on the league table now, Nigeria has played 6 matches with 7 points. 6 matches. We've lost 1, we've won 1, and the remaining 4, we are the draw specialists in that group. You know, despite being 4th behind Lesotho and Benin and South Africa. South Africa is 1st, Benin is 2nd, Lesotho is 3rd, Nigeria is 4th. Despite being behind, there's still a slim chance. It has now become, the chances are now becoming slim with the 4 games. Nigeria must win all points. You know, 4 times 3 is 12. If you calculate, Nigeria must win all 4 games. So we are now in that dicey situation now. I don't know why we wait until this period of the qualifiers before we start kicking. You know, we're still going to make a video on the narrowest of margins that Nigeria missed out in at the other World Cups. In 2022, we missed out. In 2006, you know, how would Nigeria, a great country, be missing out in crunchy tournaments like this? You know, in 1990 we missed out. So we're going to do a video. We're going to do another video on that. So stay tuned. Watch out for that video. So Nigeria are 4th in that group, and remember, it's just one team that qualifies. It's just one team that qualifies. South Africa ahead of Nigeria. You know, Benin, and we have Lesotho and Nigeria. So Nigeria need all all hands on deck to execute this game, and we should record the victory. So when I come back, I'm going to give you the concluding part, the interesting part, one of the interesting parts of this discussion I'm going to give you. So Diary TV, we're happy to tell you that we are going to be on ground to cover the game against Rwanda at the Gospel Akpabio Stadium in Uyo. We'll be bringing interviews with our Super Eagles stars, your favorite Super Eagles stars. We'll be giving you exclusive interviews. We'll be giving you training clips. We'll be giving you how the team, is preparing ahead of the match, and we'll give you, on the sidelines, we'll give you reports, videos of how, our reactions from the bench or things that happen on the pitch, and after game, post-match interviews. If we win, if we don't win, players might not want to talk to us. They might want to wait for the post-match interviews, but we'll be there live at the Gospel Akpabio Stadium on September 6th. So stay on this space, stay on this YouTube channel. Like I said, if you have not subscribed, you're watching for the first time, subscribe, like, comment. Please give us your ideas, give us your opinion if Nigeria will make it to the World Cup. It's a very good thing for us. A lot of monies will be made in our tourism, in our sponsorship deals, and all of those things. And Nigerians, the fans, we are going to enjoy good football. We'll be proud of our nations. This World Cup, we're going to have 42 teams, so Nigeria will be part of the 42 teams. Please join us on Diary TV. I remain Akan. Thank you so much for staying. If you've watched this, thank you so much for staying. You can also share our videos too, and you can also give us your honest opinions. I've been receiving opinions from people one-on-one, and they've been helpful to me, helping me with some little mistakes that we make. But Diary TV, we are always on point for you to give you that professional touch of analysis of this beautiful game. Thank you so much.